not permit charges to be confirmed on the basis of conjecture, on the basis of such a weak evidentiary basis. Now, since the prosecution made such a big deal out of incident 3 on Monday and screened the video of the hit job itself, if you recall, the one in a marketplace which was supposedly viewed with approval by our client, I would like to devote a few words to it. If your honours follow the transcript that accompanies this video viewing session, the prosecution fixated on the comments of Mr. Duterte telling the person operating the video not to zoom in.
Prof, you were saying?
Sinasabi ko nga kanina, yung sa common plan, no, hindi naman kailangan doon ng direct testimony. No? Tingin ko maraming nasabi doon yung prosecutor. Pero doon sa board of liability ng ordering and inducing, importante doon yung direct testimony na nagsasabi na narinig niya yung presidente mag-order na pumatay. Ano? Yung isa doon na mahabang section, actually it goes into the credibility of the insider witness. Ano?
Yun nga, yung may part on limited use dun sa mga statements ng mga star witnesses o yung mga self-confessed criminals, ika nga, ni Attorney Kaufman. Go ahead.
Kasi sa ICC, wala po tayong direct rules na kagaya sa atin na pwede kang magbigay ng general immunity clause. Ano? Pero somehow na-reflect doon yung state standard natin na basta hindi siya yung the most guilty. No, pwede. At hindi po pwedeng mangako yung prosecutor na sige, meron ka immunity. No? Ang pwede lang in-observe in practice is that the ICC leaves it to the prosecutor's discretion whether or not to charge. At dito yung nagkakaroon ng mga issues sa credibility kasi nga pwedeng magsabi yung isang tao na sige testify ako para lang i-exculpate yung sarili niya kahit na wala naman siyang alam or kahit na mas talagang marami siyang ginawa na hindi dapat i-excuse by the prosecution. Ano? Yun yung sinasabi ni Attorney Kaufman. Ano? Hindi natin alam kung ano pero sabi niya parang pinapahiwatig niya na mukhang may mga pinangako tong prosecutor na hindi dapat pinapangako sa ganitong klaseng konteksto. At dahil ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay yung mga self-confessed criminals na sabi nila malalim yung kanilang involvement sa movement sa DDS, ano? Kung pag ganun hindi pwedeng sabihin na meron kang general immunity. Kasi sinasabi niya baka itong prosecutor na lingid sa kaalaman ng tao, wala silang authority to grant general immunity. So it's actually an attack on the credibility of the insider witnesses. Ano? At meron kasing kaso niyan noon din, Lubuanga, yung confidentiality agreements kasi. Di ba, naalala nyo kanina sinabi ko merong equality of arms. Ano?
Yes.
Equality of arms you are required to disclose. Pero nung yan sa Lubuanga, may mga insider witnesses, nagkaroon sila ng confidentiality agreements. Nang hiningi ng depensa yung mga dokumento, sabi ng prosecutor, may confidentiality requirement kami. Sabi ng hindi pwede yan kasi merong requirement ng equality of arms. Ano? So nagkaroon ng scandal yun nung sa kaso ng Lubuanga, na-suspend yung trial, the accused was released subject to appeal. No? And eventually the appeals court intervened and recalled the release but said that there is a requirement really to observe the strict procedures for these things. No?
So, attorney, by questioning the credibility of the star witnesses, ika nga, ano ang gustong mangyari ng depensa dito? Totally ma-disregard ang testimony nitong mga witnesses, ma-strike out of the record na hindi talaga isasali? What are the scenarios?
Yun ang reading ko. No? Sinasabi niya na may problema tayo dito kasi kung sinasabi ng mga insider witness na ang dami nilang pinatay, hindi dapat pinapalagpas yan. No? Hindi pwede yun, sabi niya. Kasi hindi ka at ang parang ini-imply niya kasi na itong mga prosecutors mukhang merong sinabi na hindi dapat sabihin o nagbigay ng pangako na hindi naman niya pwedeng ipangako. Yun yung basa ko doon sa sinabi niya. No?
Tapos, attorney, mukhang may gusto rin siyang i-point out na political angle dito sa mga witnesses. Kasi sinabi niya, these witnesses were offered on a silver platter daw by people na hindi niya mapangalanan.
So again, that's a credibility attack, no? Na how are we sure that the testimony is not colored by anything? Because the prosecution, it appears to me, according to him, is doing something out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
And if they simply depended on this guy whose telephone call was recorded, we don't know even how it was recorded,
Oo.
whether it can be admitted in the proceedings. But his trust is that uh, the testimony of these people is unfortunately tainted and cannot be relied upon. Yun ang
Mhm.
sinasabi.
Attorney, tapos pinunan niya rin yung inherent na kahinaan daw ng ebidensya pagdating dito sa 49 incidents on count 1.
Yeah, yun nga.
What do you make yes,
Doon
what do you
sa
make of
DDS
those?
yun, Yeah, yung sa DDS, yung sinasabi nga niya, unang-una, wala namang direct testimony.
Oo.
Na
Second-hand
narinig ng
attributions,
witness.
unidentified daw
Yes,
yung
oo.
victims,
Yes, yes.
wala daw documentary records, may mga ganun sa mga pinupunto.
Mhm. So, sa tingin ko tungkol sa ordering 'yun, na merong direct orders presidente kasi nakasama 'yun sa yung ordering on inducing, na kasama din 'yun sa count 1 no,
Mhm.
na alternative na charge na nakalagay sa document containing charges, Pero sa pagdating sa common plan, hindi naman siya required,
Yes.
Um, 'Yun yung aking puna doon sa punto na 'yon.
Mm. Attorney, nung sa pagsisimula nitong fourth session na to, may binanggit siyang Al-Rahman case just last year. May kino-quote siya
Yeah,
mga
ito.
trial judgment doon eh. Are you familiar with this case?
Well, it is a recent case. I'm not sure about this, no, because he's saying that the phrase virtual certainty
Oo.
was discussed there. It has to do with knowledge na near impossible, or how should I put it, na
Mm.
it's near inevitability, no?
Yes.
Na kung ano yung sinabi ng isang tao,
Mhm.
mangyayari talaga. It would lead to certain consequences,
Mhm.
sabi niya mahirap itong walang ebidensya na ganito yung kasi nga doon ito sa connection, yung causation between statements and the results,
Mm.
so he was citing that. So I'm not sure about
Yes.
that kind of jurisprudence because it's a recent one, and the commentaries we have right now is only from 2022, and he was citing a case from 2025. But we
Mhm.
have
Itong Al-Rahman, oo, hindi niya
yes
masyado
we have
dinetalye
cases.
rin eh.
Yes, meron tayong kaso kasi sa other courts, International Criminal Tribunal for Yugoslavia, mas strict yun actually, no? But the earlier cases sa ICC are not that really mas broad yung kanilang requirements. Pero it's a very technical ground being raised by Attorney Kaufman here, no?
Mhm.
On still on the existence of a common plan that was implemented from top to bottom.
Mm.
So sinasabi niya kung galing sa taas yan, paano yung sa baba? Meron bang expectation na kung pag sinabi ng nasa taas, yun din yung gagawin ang pagkaintindi ng nasa
Yes.
baba, no?
Mm.
So meron daw malaking gap doon sa structure na yan na pag may malaking gap, hindi pwedeng sabihin na may kinalaman ang presidente, yung dating presidente Duterte doon.
Mhm. Dito naman sa count 2, doon sa high value targets, may sinite siyang statistic eh. 4,817 daw ang nasa listahan, pero ang napatay 248. A mere 5%.
Yeah, well, alam mo yung crimes against humanity kasi hindi naman yan sa bilang, Wala yung minimum, walang maximum. Kasi papakita mo yung pattern. So yung double barrel kasi may high value target and then may barangay enforcement, barangay sweep,
Mm.
You combine them, so ang general characteristic talaga niya is it's widespread, it's systematic, no? And it's targeted towards a civilian population. So
Mhm.
you can see that there are cases before in the ICC also or in other courts involving, say, 100,000 torture cases,
Yes.
no? Or 200 or such, no? At ang representative cases ay less than 100. No?
Yes.
So I think that argument that falls flat on its face, no? Kasi
Oo.
ina-isolate niya yung high value targets against the entirety of
Mm.
the representative cases. So I think that can easily be surmounted by the prosecution.
Tapos, attorney, twice tonight, at least twice, narinig ko si Attorney Kaufman. Una kanina sinabi niya, I don't know if that struck you. Yung sinabi niya, hindi guilty, kailangan umuwi na tayo. Walang ebidensya,
Yeah,
umuwi na
well,
tayo. Ito naman, may pinanggit naman siya ngayon. Ang prosecution dapat i-resubmit ang kanilang document containing charges, and Mr. Duterte or the former president should be released in the interim.
Well, yun yung example ko nga doon sa credibility question, no? Kasi nangyari nga ito sa Zamboanga na because of certain insider witnesses, no, that entered into confidentiality agreements with the with the prosecution, no? It gave rise to problems with respect to the availability of the evidence, no? Kasi kung ano ba yung confidentiality requirements na yun at ano ba yung dinisclose, ano yung agreements na nakapaloob doon, ayaw ibigay ng prosecutor, no? So I think he was tackling that to that incident, tawag dyan disclosure crisis ng International Criminal Court, no? And it led to tighter regulation. So he was really hitting that kasi nangyari nga doon, merong order to release yung trial chamber kay Lubanga, no? Habang pending yun kasi habang hindi pa nagkaroon ng malinaw na desisyon doon sa questions na na itinaas nung depensa, ano. At kasi sinasabi niya essentially kung wala ding pangalawa, no, na based nga doon sa discussion niya yung statistical inference, sabi niya.
Yes.
Kasi yung ebidensya daw dito ay largely an academic study, ano. Pero sabi niya meron kasing requirements, so na parang ang ini-imply niya na itong statistical inference yun lang yung ebidensya at wala nang iba. At kung ganoon lang, tama naman siya doon, no? Kasi kung statistical evidence lang at walang iba, eh mahina nga ang kaso, no? But I think the prosecutor can say that this has been corroborated and that the statistics here is matched with the wide patterns of killings throughout the Philippines arising from the implementation of Oplan double barrel, ano, and then yung iba-iba pang mga aspects, no, yung policy, yung mga statements. So if indeed if the whole case of the prosecutor only rests on statistical inference, then it's going to be a case.
So, yung mga scenarios po dito sa confirmation of charges, of course, if it's confirmed, we go to trial. If it's not confirmed, the former president can be set free. Or, yung isa pa pong option, i-resubmit ng prosecution ang kanilang charges. Posible rin po pala na i-release ang dating Pangulo. Pwede rin yung ganong scenario.
Yeah, may example ko nga ginawa yung kay Lubanga dahil din sa credibility ng witnesses, ano, kay Lubanga rather. So may examples ng gano'n, ano. Pwede rin kasi sabihin ng korte na kulang pa yung ebidensya, kuha pa kayo ng bago. Pero that does not automatically mean i-release, no.
Yes.
So i-determine pa rin ng korte kung in the meantime pwede pa rin nasa detention ang dating Pangulo.
Prof, tumatagal yata yung parang reduction nila. What could be happening? Ano bang posibleng nangyayari ngayon? Sorry.
Ito na. Oo.
Today's hearing, the third day. The hearing shall resume tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thank you, parties and participants. I thank our interpreters, the registry, the technical staff, and all those who have allowed this. Yes, Mr. Nichols?
To interrupt, Your Honors, just at the end of the day, but I wonder if we could go into private session for 1 minute before you leave the bench.
Wait, Mr. Nichols.
Yes, Mr. Nichols?
Kakaroon ng private session with the judge bago mag-adjourn for the day ang confirmation of charges hearing ng pretrial chamber 1 at nabanggit nga ni Judge Motok na magpapatuloy ulit 10 a.m. sa local time ang huling araw, ika-4 at huling araw ng confirmation of charges. Balikan natin for his final thoughts si Professor Romel Bagares. Prof, your final thoughts. Anong assessment mo sa unang araw ng paglalatag ng ebidensya at argumento ng depensa?
Well, itong last na session na to, no, meron palang sorpresa talaga abogado ni dating Duterte, very strong arguments on the credibility of the witnesses, on the nature of the statistical evidence presented to the prosecutor, and also on, as I said, I expected that the specifics of the cases, whether in fact these are connected to any statement by the president or any common plan or policy, hinimay-himay niya, no? Meron siyang very compelling arguments doon, no? And this will now be submitted really to the appreciation of the judges, and after the close of the confirmation of charges proceeding. And so this really shows to us that um, uh, the confirmation of charge like this can have surprises. But I would say that I think the prosecution has given some strong counterweight to what was said. But at the same time, tingin ko doon sa ordering and inducing, mukhang successful doon si Attorney Kaufman, no, na sabihin na wala namang ebidensya. I would give that to him, yung ordering and inducement. But for common plan and for aiding and abetting, tingin ko meron pa ring ebidensyang nailahad na maayos ang prosecutor para dito. And lastly, whether if this is confirmed, it's just confirmation, no? It doesn't automatically mean na may conviction kasi ibang standard naman doon. Yun yung guilt beyond reasonable doubt. So we should not forget that. This is just confirmation of charges on the question of whether he should go to trial.
Any more surprises tomorrow? May mga ina-anticipate pa ba kayong mga pasabog bukas?
Well, I think itong mga sidebar na ginagawa nila tungkol ito sa identities ng witnesses. At sinasabi ng prosecutor na hindi pwede kasi may security issues, kaya hindi pwedeng i-disclose yung mga pangalan nila at kung nasaan sila.
Dean, thank you very much for lending your expertise sa ating discussions tonight and for helping us make sense of all of this. Maraming salamat, Professor Romel Regalado Bagares, sa inyong oras sa ating pag-unawa po sa sinasagawang hearing.